you're never going to get enlightened. So stop trying so damn hard. No matter how many hours you meditate, no matter how many spiritual lectures you listen to by Ram Dass or Alan Watts, or how many of my YouTube videos you watch, you're never going to get enlightened. Enlightenment is the purity of our consciousness returning back to source, however, still incarnate within this human being. And there have been enlightened beings incarnate on our planet Earth. Jesus, the Buddha. I mean, some people say Eckhart Tolle or Ram Dass may have been, Ramana Maharshi. These people have walked the earth and wiped their awareness clean. They've wiped the slate of their awareness clean and wiped away their ego. However, they still have this essence to them. They all have their own unique essence. Their awareness was pure. It was loving consciousness, pure loving awareness. And ultimately, the spiritual path is a path of remembering. It is remembering our nature as pure loving awareness, because we were at one time. Every human being was pure loving awareness at some point or another. And each of us, if we can go back, if we could go back to that moment that we were birthed into this world, when our mother gave birth to us and we came out into the world and wow, those eyes wide open looking out upon the world, purity. Purity of consciousness, purity of awareness. And every experience since then has wiped and tainted our experience of that reality. It's forced us to use language and put labels upon the world and put judgments upon ourselves, thus bringing us farther away from the truth. And there's yogis that sit in caves for years on end to try and get back there, to reach samadhi and finally moksha, liberation from the material world, right? But us, we live in a 21st century society where you're watching this fucking video on YouTube and you still scroll through Instagram Reels. So it's not realistic, the way that we live, to live perfectly, because that's enlightenment. You are a perfect being, and that's unrealistic. So to set those expectations on yourself, to think that you could be perfect out of everybody, out of the 8 billion people on this planet Earth, to think that you could be perfect is an unrealistic expectation. And to hold yourself to that, you're going to ultimately cause your own suffering. So let go of the idea. And I had to look in the mirror and tell myself that. Because ultimately, when I started the spiritual path, I was into the idea of getting free. Oh, baby, if anybody can get free, it's going to be me. Oh, man, look at all these yogis in caves. They couldn't get free. I'll get free. Look at me. And that's the ego. The ego wants to get free so bad. The ego wants to get free, but what the ego doesn't understand is the freedom is its death. These beings that have gotten free, the enlightened ones, have talked from a place of isness, of that I am. That I am. They're speaking from a place of truth, of purity, of knowing. Most of these words that we say, if not all of these words, are but untruth. They're but a guessing. They're an opinion, a judgment, a label that we put on the world to try and make sense of it. To try and make sense of ourselves. But these labels take us away from what it means to be true, to be still, to be pure. Because the purity of our awareness needs no label on it. If I say I am pure loving awareness, I'm surely not pure loving awareness. It is the experience that's beyond words that we seek. Enlightenment is not something that we can attain through rhetoric and language and human understanding and effort and trying and doing. There's no way that you could do your way to enlightenment. I'm gonna do all these things so that I can get enlightened. I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to read the Bible, and I'm going to read these ancient Hindu scriptures, the Yoga Sutras. I'm going to do all this yoga, and maybe some Qigong will get me enlightened. It's a game. It's all a facade. These things to do, they're distractions. And that's the art of Zen is so beautiful, because the art of Zen encapsulates what it means to be truly present. Because the teachings are beyond that of words. You go into the Zen master's room, and he looks at you and claps his hands. On now, off now. Think about that for a day. Think about, what does that mean? But think about it. Think about it until there are no thoughts to be had, and until you are that sound. You could put as many words on this world as possible. However, your words will never entirely make sense of it. There's inherently a gap, and there will always be a gap between language and understanding, between rhetoric and understanding. Because all rhetoric is, all language is vibrational frequencies moving through the air that we are then hearing in our ears that are being converted into thoughts that we then take meaning behind. I say, I love you. You say, you understand what that means. But if I say te amo and you don't speak Spanish, do I love you? Do you understand that I love you? The language does not hold the meaning. We hold the meaning. And we hold the meaning to this entire human experience. And relying on the world to make sense of it, relying on our own intellect to make sense of it, is foolish. And trying to get free of this human experience is foolish as well. And I've fallen down the trap, and I still fall down the trap. Because I think it would be awesome. I still think it would be awesome to be free in a cave in the Himalayas. But you know how bad those yogis' backs must hurt? Sitting up on a cave wall for 3 months at a time. And no food? I like red meat. And I like bananas in the morning. And I take my coffee with maple syrup. So the world is still something that we can love and we can enjoy as human beings. It's not something that you need to be an ascetic to lead a spiritual life. And the idea of living your life aesthetically or living your life through the world to get enlightened is a foolish idea. Because having the goal, that goal in mind it's never going to work out, man. And I'm saying this to myself as I speak to myself. It's about being where you are, being where your feet are, because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's no amount of lectures that we can sit through to make us hear. You can say, I'm here now until I'm blue in the face, until you just feel it, until you don't need to say it anymore. The affirmations are great. The meditations are great. The spiritual practices, the yoga, the Qigong, reading the Yoga Sutras, reading the Bhagavad Gita, it's all magnificent. But integrate it. Put it into practice. Take your shoes off and step on the earth, and don't think about the Yoga Sutras. And don't think about God and contemplate the nature of reality. Just be. Because that's what you are. And by us setting a goal, a spiritual goal, it's ultimately our ego just digging a hole deeper for ourselves. So don't bury yourself. Don't let your ego, your spiritual ego, bury you. And just be free while you're a human being, because you're innately free. Your awareness is innately, beautifully pure as you came out of your mother's womb into this world. And how can we reach once again? Wipe it clean, man. Subscribe for more videos on spiritual awakening, self-realization, consciousness, and all things of the sorts. My name's Corey, and I help people get in touch with themselves, their own consciousness, their own dreams, and understand reality, maybe a bit more. Though I'm just a vehicle for doing that. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Subscribe. There's more videos on my channel, just like this one. So much love, so much peace, and namaste.